Cutscenes. They're essential in any video game. They always pop up. They always tell a story. They help to flesh out the plot. They give lore and context to the world you're in. And they're a lot of fun to watch. Stardew Valley, one of my all-time favorite games to play. And one of the main reasons for that is the cast of characters, with all their own cutscenes. Hey, it's Saf, and today we're going through all of the Stardew Valley cutscenes in the game, one by one. I'm getting a phone call! My friends, today I'm bringing you a tier list of Stardew Valley cutscenes. Why? Why not? No one's done this before. I thought it'd be really fun to go through all the different cutscenes they have. Also, you guys, there are 98 cutscenes in Stardew Valley. Now, don't quote me on this because I could be wrong. I tried my best to calculate about how many cutscenes there were for each of the characters, so I might be off by one or two, but like almost 100 cutscenes. Kinda crazy. Yeah, this is gonna be a long video. Now, before we get into things super quickly, I have to do a huge shout out for a fellow creator who was so very kind and has allowed me to use some of their B-roll footage for this video. Huge shout out to a fellow creator by the name of JNEY. But they were very gracious enough to allow me to use some of their clips in this video, so a huge shout out to them. Thank you so much, friend. I'll make sure to link their channel down below, so please give them some love, show them support. And without further ado, I have my bang energy, let's get started. We are gonna start with our bachelor, Alex. Now, I kind of have a soft spot for Alex. I've never actually romanced him in any of my playthroughs, but I just definitely have a soft spot for him. He's the kind of guy that goes through a transformation for sure, of like being a little sexist, but then realizing like girls can be cool, girls can play sports. And so this first cutscene involving Alex and the farmer playing catch, it's kind of wholesome. I don't know, I do like it a lot. You know, I think it's really wholesome, honestly, and he talks about his hopes and dreams. As you get to know Alex's character, a lot about his insecurities really come through, with him not thinking he's good enough to like play gridball professionally and education-wise, and you kind of get a sneak peek of his hopes and dreams in this cutscene. I think it's just a really great like character building moment for Alex, where like he kind of introduces like, this is what I want to work for. I don't know, I think it's a good moment. Okay, I just spent 2 whole minutes talking and I only got through one cutscene. So this is gonna be a long video. Alright, up next, it's the Dusty cutscene. Oh no. Well, it's going right up to BRB sobbing. We learn more about Alex's backstory in this cutscene, with his father not being very supportive and kind of why he lives with Granny Evelyn and George. It just makes me so sad. It's like I want to just like wrap him up and like give him a hug. Because he needs a little love. He needs a little bit of love, I think. Also, a side note, if you guys have ever gone into Evelyn's drawer, you see the letter that Alex's mom wrote to Evelyn before she like passed. Guys, the first time I ever saw that, I broke down. I could not handle it because I love Evelyn so much. I just love her character. She's great. I felt so many emotions during that moment. All right, moving along, we have this cutscene with Alex, and I'll put this one on wholesome AF. It's basically Alex kind of talking more about his insecurities and not being very good at reading, or like being afraid to read. I relate a lot because I used to love reading, and then college happened, and then I hated reading. And it's just definitely a moment where Alex finds kind of like the self-confidence to start kind of pursuing his like journeys and dreams. Very wholesome. This is a spicy meatball. Yeah, okay. Honestly, no commentary is needed for this one. Alex in this cutscene, yeah. No words needed. No words are even needed, you guys. You guys, this beach cutscene, if you have seen this beach cutscene, are you kidding me? BRB sobbing. ConcernedApe, why did you do this to my boy? I feel so many things, and I also feel just depressed watching that. So we're gonna move along to the Italiano restaurant scene. This is pretty standard. It's not one of the more spicy of the 8-heart bachelor events, so I'll just put it in wholesome AF. It's very Alex. It is very on brand for Alex, I think, to just take the farmer to like a restaurant for like their first date, sorta. So wholesome AF, I think. All right, moving on to the Elliott cutscenes. Ooh, my boy Elliott. Okay, this very first cutscene with Elliott, I had to literally Google because I forgot what even happened. So I think this would probably fit into like, when did this happen? But I'm also not the biggest Elliott fan. Sorry to the Elliott fangirls. But it's not that interesting. You do have an important question that he asks you about what your favorite genre is, and I think depending on how you answer will like change the cutscenes in later on during his like events. I think that's how it works. It's just kind of like, I don't know, when did this happen? Like, This next one's actually pretty cute. You have a drink with Elliott at Gus's bar, and so I'll put that in wholesome AF. It's just like, it's pretty cute. It's a wholesome moment. Can't disagree with that. This next cutscene gives you a little bit more into the backstory for like Elliott and his like author aspiration. I do appreciate this cutscene for kind of like showing the passage of time between the last one and this one. He talks about being halfway through his novel and the progress he's made on it. Plus, there's a really beautiful piano solo in this cutscene that I just love a lot. So I'll put this one also in wholesome AF, I think. Alright, the next one's Elliott's book event, and this is kind of the culmination of what he's been working on throughout the months of Stardew Valley, basically. But that was his dream, and he accomplished his dream. He wrote his book, so I think it's pretty wholesome. Alright, this boat cutscene, whew, this is very romantic. When I first met Elliott in Stardew Valley, he gave me like Fabio vibes, and I totally get this from this cutscene, especially just like him on the boat. Like, that's very Elliott. I think I'll probably put this, I don't know, not really spicy enough, but like it is really like very romantic, so I'll probably put it also in wholesome AF. Oh, the Harvey cutscenes. Okay, also controversial. I think Harvey's very boring. I'm sorry, one of my best friends in college romanced Harvey, and like she loved him. I can't relate. I just don't see it personally. He's sweet, he's nice, he'll take care of you, but he's just like he's not spicy enough. You know, I need a bachelor who's gonna be just like Sebastian, for instance, but we'll get to him later. Anyway, Harvey cutscenes. Number 1, this is with George. It's really awkward and uncomfortable, honestly. I don't know, honestly, I'm very uncomfortable. It's like, why am I even here? During the checkup between George and Harvey, it's just like, I don't need to be here for this. I don't need to see George being an asshole to people. I don't know, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be here. I'm not gonna get involved in this doctor-patient exchange. Oh my gosh, and then this one. Also, I'm very uncomfortable. There's like sexual tension. It's like so weird. He's like, your pulse is high. Like, yeah, you're being a weirdo right now. These are weird cutscenes. I can't handle them. Okay, but this one, this is so funny to me. I love this cutscene so much. It's just like, it's very on brand. Like, okay, ConcernedApe can write characters very well, and he can put the characters into certain cutscenes where it just fits their character so well. And the fact that like Harvey does aerobics class is so fitting for this character, and it's just so funny, but also wholesome. So I think it's really good, honestly. Okay, this cutscene with Harvey and the like radio sort of business, I'm sobbing. I think this cutscene is so good. Basically, in this cutscene, Harvey makes contact with the pilot of an airplane, and the farmer walks in, and you kind of get some of the backstory about how Harvey's original dream was being a pilot, but couldn't because of his fear of heights. But he's like, it's okay, like I'm very happy with my current life, and he seems content leading his life. And then you guys, kind of leading into the next cutscene already, but he conquered his fear and takes you on a hot air balloon ride? Are you kidding me? This is spicy. This is really romantic. That's a great cutscene. That is character growth in a nutshell. Alright, hi. I actually added in a new tier to the list because I kind of felt like there was something kind of missing about this tier list. So I added in SOS Having Feelings. This is kind of reserved for the cutscenes. For example, Harvey's balloon cutscene. It's not quite spicy enough for the meatball category, but it's definitely like very romantic, and I'm honestly feeling some things. I'm also gonna move Elliott's 8-heart event up into that category as well. And And now we're moving on to Sam. I also have to romance Sam. I have not done that in a playthrough yet, but I do really enjoy a lot of Sam's cutscenes. They're super fun. We're gonna start off with him in band practice. I honestly don't like this one. It's a little boring. It's also kind of like forgettable, honestly. There is an important part of this cutscene where you have to tell Sam your favorite genre of music, and then kind of like Elliott's cutscene, your decision will reflect the later cutscene where you go to his concert. Besides that, it's kind of forgettable and like not that interesting, so I'll just put it in that category, I think. Now, on the other hand, this next beach cutscene, why are all the beach cutscenes so depressing? Yeah, BRB sobbing. In this cutscene, basically, Vincent's asking Sam when their dad Kent is gonna come home from the war. A horrible, so sad. It's just an awful situation to be in, obviously. I'm actually kind of curious what would happen in this cutscene if you don't befriend Sam until year 2 when Kent comes back. Does this cutscene not happen if Kent's already back in Stardew Valley? I don't know. I'm actually kind of curious, so if you guys know, leave me a comment down below. Oh my god, this cutscene with the egg, literally, I am so uncomfortable. Why is this in the game? Why did this have to be written into the code? Sam tries to like offer you an egg for some reason and then he breaks it and his mom Jody like totally freaks out like, Miss Girl, calm down, it's fine, it's just an egg, we all do it. Like, what is the purpose of this cutscene? It does nothing for the characters or the plot for that matter. It's just like so weird. Oh my gosh, again with the weird cutscenes. Okay, in this cutscene, you guys, Sam is being a skater boy. He said, see you later, boy. I'm uncomfortable. Why is Mayor Lewis being like so weird to Sam during this cutscene and is like, you darn kids with your skateboards? Like, it's weird. It's just weird behavior and I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be here for this. Alright, the next cutscene. I like this cutscene a lot actually, and you get kind of a glimpse of Zuzu City, which you don't get too often in Stardew Valley, so I'll put this in Wholesome AF. It's just a really cool moment where you get to see Sam and his bands perform live, and depending on what genre of music you picked during the previous cutscene is played during this cutscene, which is kind of cool. Ooh, and this last one, okay. Ooh, this is spicy. This is a spicy meatball, you guys. So this is, I think, Sam's 8-heart event, I think. And I don't want to like say anything, but I think it's kind of implied that like you and Sam, this is honestly like the spiciest cutscene in any of the Bachelor and Bachelorette cutscenes in Stardew Valley. Oh my god, you know what? This gets bumped to the front. Oh my gosh, there's so many left. Oh my god, there's so many cutscenes. Alright, moving it along, Sebastian, Sebi, my boy Sebi. Alright, starting off with the computer cutscene. Honestly, when did this happen? It's kind of boring. It's just like Sebastian talking about how he like has a computer job and how people don't take him seriously because Maru, his sister, is like the scientist of the family and like gets all the attention. It's kind of boring though. I don't know. It's not my favorite cutscene of his, honestly. Next is the motorcycle cutscene. I'm having some feelings about this one. It's a little romantic. It's the first kind of hint that there could be like romance here. I think it's really nice though. I like it a lot. It gives me like Bella and Jacob in New Moon when they're working on the motorcycle together. It kind of gives me those sort of vibes. Alright, up next, D&D. It's not quite like wholesome, but it's also not like crying worthy. I'll put it in wholesome. It's a fun cutscene. I love this one too, and there's a lot of different like paths you can take depending on like how you answer the questions in this one. So I think it's just really fun overall. This is classic emo Sebastian. I'll put this one back in I'm having feelings because, you guys, I have been watching a lot of Twilight recently and I totally get like Edward vibes where he's just like brooding on the pier. It's rainy, like you guys know the exact vibe. And then you come along and you're like, it's okay, I can fix you. But you can't. Spoiler alert, you can't fix him. He's not fixable. But it's still, it has me feeling something. And for that, we're gonna put it in that tier. Similarly, this cutscene, this is spicy. This is very spicy to me. This is like the end of Grease where you're flying off in the magic car and it's just like so romantic and just like so whimsical. He's like, you know what, let's go on a motorcycle ride, let's just have a nice fun time together. But then you kiss on the cliff and it's like make out point. This is spicy. Like, this is very spicy, sir. Oh no. Oh no, it's the Shane cutscenes. No, I'm just kidding. The Shane cutscenes, I think we all know where they're going to be going. If you played Stardew Valley, you know that Shane is one of the sadder kind of characters that in the game. So the first cutscene, honestly, isn't that memorable to me. It's pretty tame for the Shane cutscenes, at least. You two share a beer on the pier, basically, and just kind of talk about, like, life and the future. Shane talks about being a failure and feeling kind of worthless in life. That's very sad, obviously. It's good at setting up Shane's character growth throughout the game, but besides that, it's just kind of there. This next cutscene. These two are very similar. This one, oh my god, I never want to watch this again. This destroyed me on the inside. Yeah, this is just a really sad one overall. I don't want to get too into it because there is mention of certain unhealthy habits that I'm not going to repeat here. Yeah, this one's a bummer. This one's really fucking sad. This one, very similarly, is kind of in that same category. I'll put this one in the sobbing category only because like Marnie and Jazz get involved. You can really see how Shane's actions affect others in this cutscene, especially Jazz and Marnie, but especially Jazz in this moment, and it's very hard to watch. But it's okay because they get better. They do get better. Also, BRB crying, but like the happy kind of crying. In this cutscene, Shane gives Jazz a gift to kind of help make up for a lot of his past mistakes and for hurting her. And it's a really great redeeming moment for Shane. And I love this cutscene for that reason. He really steps up, becomes a good uncle to Jazz, and you can definitely see him taking those steps to better himself. And I gotta give it to Shane. I love that for him. This next one, not because of Shane, but because of he who shall not be named, Clint, I'm uncomfortable. It's very clear throughout Stardew Valley that Clint has a crush on Emily, and it is so uncomfortable the entire time it happens, especially during this cutscene. Just like Clint being so like weird around Emily is uncomfortable to me. I'm happy to see Shane doing his thing, showing his passions, being passionate about his filmmaking. That's really awesome. But besides that, Clint ruins it. Clint, you suck. Oh, the blue chicken cutscene. I'm feeling something. I love this cutscene. It makes me so happy to see this cutie just like living his life with his chickens, his blue chickens. It's a great moment, you know, we've come full circle. He's totally changed at this point now, and it's great to see him just like live his life. Alright, for this last Shane cutscene, this is like your date with Shane. He takes you to the grid ball tournament. When did this happen? I don't know. For me, I mean, I didn't romance Shane, so for me, it's just like, when did this happen? Alright, on to the Abigail cutscenes. I actually like a lot of her cutscenes. They're really fun, and they're all kind of different, you know? They all have different kind of vibes. This first one is where you guys play Journey of the Prairie King. I'll put it in Wholesome AF. It's just a fun moment between you guys. You get to play the game a little bit with her. It's kind of fun. I like it a lot, honestly. And this next one is her playing music in the rain. I'm gonna just honestly, like, when did this happen? It's not that memorable to me. It's a great moment for sure, but it just doesn't like stick out as like a really awesome cutscene in my opinion. Now this next one, I love this cutscene. It's fun because you kind of like stick it to Pierre a little bit too. Basically in this cutscene, Abigail is just talking about how she longs for adventures and like all that kind of fun stuff. And Pierre is just like, blah blah blah, you shouldn't do this, blah blah blah, and you kind of can be like, F you Pierre, like let her do what she wants basically. So I'm having some feelings at this point. It's just like, you know what, like let Abigail have fun. Alright, moving on, this is the Ouija board cutscene, and I'm uncomfortable. This one feels so awkward to me for some reason. It's you and Abigail using a Ouija board or a spirit board kind of similar, and it spells out I love the farmer, or it spells out your first initial in the game. Why is it so weird to me though? It just feels so uncomfortable. I don't know. I just don't like this one. I think it's just a little uncomfortable. It's very like teenage drama, teenage romance sort of vibes, but like, I don't know. I just don't like this one that much, honestly. Alright, controversial, but this last cutscene with Abigail is kind of forgettable to me. Basically, it's Abigail in the mines trying to fight off these like monsters, but she gets scared and like runs away basically, and you have to like comfort her. It's just like not memorable. It'd be way cooler if like instead Abigail and you like fought monsters together in the mines. To me, that make a more memorable moment, and it also makes sense for her character growth to me, to like have her go from like practicing swords to actually using swords and like slaying monsters instead of being scared. But that's just me personally. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me, honestly. All right, the Emily cutscenes. Yeah, these are all the Emily cutscenes. I have married Emily twice in playthroughs, so I am very familiar with these cutscenes. They're all kind of weird. They're all very crazy. If you know Emily, it makes sense. Like, yeah, it kind of scans. This first one is interesting. It's Emily in a dream, and the farmer, I think, like shows up or something kind of weird. Like, where did I even put this one? Honestly, when did this happen? I don't know. It's just a weird cutscene. This next Emily cutscene, I think, is with her parrot. I think this is where she first meets the parrot. It's injured. I think it's from Ginger Island, canonically, which is kind of cool, actually. I'll put this one in wholesome AF. It's a cool moment, and if I am correct, and the parrots are from Ginger Island, that is like cool foreshadowing. The incredibly bonkers Emily dance sequence, I am a little uncomfortable. But if I'm being honest, the first time that I watched this cutscene, I was like, what the hell just happened? I was just totally thrown off. It was kind of like the Wizard Junimo cutscene part 2, but like more trippy. But this next cutscene, this one's incredibly wholesome. This is the cutscene involving the villagers and Emily picking out like fashion to like help break them out of their shells, sorta. It's a really cute moment, and it definitely like shows off like a lot of the different villager personalities in this cutscene. I love Shane embracing his inner emo boy. I love that so much. Like, you guys don't realize how much I love that. Like, ConcernedApe, thank you so much. Chef's kiss, amazing. All right, and up last we have the really cute kind of like spicy moment. So yeah, this is going in the spicy category. This is the, I guess, tense scene with the farmer and Emily, where y'all are in the secret woods camping out. It's like so cute, and y'all are like cuddling by the campfire, but then a bear comes along and it kind of like ruins the moment a little bit. But then y'all go in the tent and it's like, ooh, what's going on here? I love it. I love it so much. When I first saw this cutscene, I was just like, oh, my heart is racing so fast. Like, this is just a video game. And I was just like feeling things. So, all right, besties, it's Haley time. I like Haley, which I guess is kind of like unpopular, but she kind of grows on you, you know? Now, this first cutscene is like uncomfortable though. It's just her and Emily like fighting over chores, and then the farmer is there for like no reason. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to get involved in your disputes. Like, just leave me out of it, please. Okay, up next is the Haley jar cutscene, and honestly, it's same vibes. I feel uncomfortable. Basically, the whole cutscene is just Haley having a hard time opening a jar, and then the farmer opens the jar. And that's it. That's the whole cutscene. Why? I just don't get it. Where's like the meat to the plot? But anyway, moving along, we have the beach cutscene. Finally, we have a non-depressing beach cutscene, which is great for a change. Basically, she loses like a valuable bracelet, and then the farmer finds it. When did this happen? Yeah, this one just like isn't memorable. It doesn't stand out to me at all, so I'll just put that one there. This next cutscene, though, with her and the farm animals, wholesome AF. This is some cute vibes going on. Basically, Haley's like, let's go look at the farm animals, take pictures with them. It's just a great moment. I love the photos that you take during the event. It's just like super cute. So it's a great cutscene overall. All right, and the last Haley cutscene is her in her dark room when she's developing photos. This is pretty spicy. So I like it a lot. I think it's pretty good, honestly. That's it. Nothing else to say. All right, moving on to Leah cutscenes, or Leah? Leah, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Leah, Miss Art Queen. Yeah, this first one is, I'm sorry to say, not memorable either, honestly. Yeah, it's just Leah talking about her art. She kind of goes through the process of like how she makes her sculptures, and it's kind of interesting, but like not one of the most standout cutscenes in the game, in my opinion. Now, in this next cutscene, you find out more about Leah's past with her ex, who comes up quite frequently in her cutscenes. From what I can gather, it was a very like toxic relationship. Not a whole lot to say about this one. It's just like stan Leah, you know, screw her ex. He's an asshole probably, so. Oh, this next cutscene's actually really cute. It's a simple one too, but also very wholesome. It's just basically the farmer and Leah like getting fruit from a tree, and Leah like is on the farmer's shoulders trying to like get the fruit basically. It's very short. It's like 30 seconds long for a cutscene, but it's cute. It's a really cute moment, honestly. All right, next cutscene. This is Leah's art show exhibit, and it's also very wholesome. Miss Girl bossed her way to success. Yeah, and it's really great seeing the whole town come together to support Leah for her art exhibit. Pretty simple, pretty wholesome. Okay, and lastly, we have Leah's, I guess, romance event where you go on a picnic with her. This is spicy, but for a different reason. So in this cutscene, Leah and the farmer go on a picnic date. It's very cute. Y'all are in the woods having a nice little cottagecore moment. And then her ex shows up, and you have the option of punching him in the face. It's so satisfying. So yeah, this is spicy, not for the reason you're thinking, just because like you punch the ex in the face, and that's so funny to me. So yeah. All right, next are all the Maru cutscenes. I don't know how to feel about these. Some are interesting. There are some good cutscenes in this, but a lot of the beginning ones are kind of like weird and boring. I don't quite remember what this cutscene is about. I know like Demetrius is like rude to Maru or something. Hold on a minute. I have to go watch this again. Okay. I'm very uncomfortable. Demetrius came out of nowhere with the attack on the farmer for like no reason. Basically, in this cutscene, Maru and Demetrius are working on like a science experiment, and she leaves, and then it's just you and Demetrius, and he's just like, leave my daughter alone. This is her future. As if like you're already putting moves on Maru at 2 hearts. It's so weird. I get that he's being protective of her. I totally get that, but I'm also like very uncomfortable. Like, we're at 2 hearts. We're just friends, Demetrius, please. All right, this next cutscene is Maru working at Harvey's clinic, and she drops a beaker for some reason, and it's just like really uncomfortable overall. I don't know if I should put this in like the when did this happen tier or the uncomfortable tier, because like on one hand, this cutscene is like not memorable at all, but it's also uncomfortable to watch. So it's like right on that line between the two. It's not memorable to me at all. It's just kind of weird. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it really. All right, this next cutscene is Maru stargazing, and this is super wholesome AF. I love this cutscene personally. It is so gorgeous. Just like the art involved in making this cutscene is just so beautiful to me. I love a good stargazing moment, and this totally is just like perfect for Maru, you know? All right, 8-heart event. This is where Maru almost freaking kills you. Yeah, this is a cutscene where you're working on Maru's experiment with her and you get electrocuted, and it's very unfortunate, and she's obviously very apologetic about it. She's just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. But like, bestie, you almost killed me. Like, I'm uncomfortable about it. All right, this is Maru's, I think, 10-heart event. I included it twice for some reason, so if you end up doing this tier list, just like disregard that. It's the same cutscene. This one is wholesome, but like I'm also sobbing. It's a really devastating. It's heartbreaking. He's so cute. Like, this robot comes to life and he's really cute and wholesome, but then he has to be let go, unfortunately, and BRB, I'm crying. Rest in peace, robot, forever. I want to be done with all these cutscenes. All right, Penny. She is the last marriage candidate, which means we're like almost done finally. Sorta. Halfway done, maybe. This is a long video already, probably. So if you stuck through this far, like, you're totally cool. Like, you get a 2 thumbs up from Sapphire. But anyway, we are already off on a very uncomfortable foot between George and Penny. You know, George has anger problems a little bit. He's kind of grumpy and he takes it out on Penny, and that's not right. He shouldn't do that. And the farmer shows up, of course, to kind of like resolve the situation. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be the town's like therapist. I don't need to like solve all these relationship problems. Like, y'all can do that on your own. So I just want to stay out of it. So this one's kind of uncomfortable for me as well. Alright, at 4 Hearts, we get the first glimpse into Penny and Pam's relationship, and I'm crying over it. This is really heartbreaking to watch, and it's a very sad cutscene to sit through. Basically, you and Penny are trying to clean the trailer, and then Pam comes home, she's drunk, she's angry about it, she's like, I don't want you to clean up my mess, and they get into a fight over it. Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's a really sad moment in the game, honestly. All right, in this cutscene, Miss Girl tries to kill the farmer with her cooking. I'm a little uncomfortable. You know, the farmer is nice, and like, there is an option to like be nice to Penny and like say, yeah, it's not too bad, like it's pretty decent, but like you're just lying to her, so it's like kind of uncomfortable to lie to Penny. Yeah, overall, this is the weird cutscene. Like, it's kind of funny, but also just like, I don't know. This next cutscene, it really is just like straight wholesome vibes. Basically, you're on a picnic with Jazz, Vincent, and Penny, and she's doing like an outside sort of like teaching lesson, and it's a little boring, but it's cute. It is really cute. I do like it a lot. This last cutscene, though, this might be almost spicier than Sam's cutscene, honestly. This one really teeters the line. This is spicy. And it's like shocking because like Penny doesn't come across as the kind of person who would be into like the pool sort of bathhouse scene. She's very reserved, but like Miss Girl just like came out of nowhere and was just like, yeah, like let's have like a whole steamy romance in the bathhouse. Like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? Right, and that's all of the marriage candidates out of the way. We still have a bunch of NPCs left though, so we're not done yet. Pierre, oh, my favorite Pierre cutscene. Just kidding. Straight to jail. Straight to jail with this cutscene. I don't even know what this implies, what this means. You're basically in their house for some reason and you find some like weird materials and he's just like, please don't tell the town about this. Pierre, like, what's going on? I already didn't like you. I hate you even more now for this. Like, straight to jail. On the other hand, Caroline has some pretty cute cutscenes. Honestly, Caroline's kind of very forgettable as a villager in the game, but she has some wholesome moments, like her tea house. I mean, as it stands, the tea leaves in this game are pretty valuable and lucrative for like making money, so like that's also great. This next cutscene with Abigail and Caroline, it's like, when did this even happen? This is very forgettable. Basically, the whole cutscene is just Abigail and Caroline fighting, as daughters and mothers do. Pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, this one, when does this even happen? I mean, like, Caroline as it is very forgettable as a villager. But anyway, moving into our next cutscene, this is another fight between Demetrius and Robin. I'm uncomfortable. The farmer must love the drama because they're always like in these big fights between the characters. But yeah, this is between Demetrius and Robin and it's uncomfortable. Moving along. Oh, did I mention fighting? Okay, yeah, Krobus and the dwarf. This is a physical altercation. Yeah, this cutscene goes really hard. It in the worst possible way. Basically, the dwarf and Krobus are fighting because on one hand, Krobus's people, the shadow people, are responsible for the death of the dwarf's family. And then on the other hand, you have Krobus, who is saying that the dwarf people have run him out of his own, like, home. So this is very complicated, and I don't want to watch this cutscene ever again. I don't want to be involved in whatever is going on. I just hope that they can resolve this peacefully. Oh no, the George cutscenes. Oh no. Okay. Well, yeah, this is a really sad cutscene. It basically just kind of goes into the backstory for how George ended up in his wheelchair. He was in the coal mines and had an accident, and it's really, really sad and depressing, honestly. So I'm sobbing. We're all crying. On the other hand, this is the second George cutscene. This is part of the special requests board that Lewis installs in the town. Basically, Evelyn asks for the farmer to collect leeks, which is George's favorite loved item essentially, and bring them to him as like a way of showing appreciation for George. And you guys, it's honestly heartbreaking because at first, George is like, is this some sort of sick joke? Like, do y'all just like hate me this much to like pull a prank on me like this? But then of course the farmer is like, no, like, you know, this is just our appreciation. And he like has a moment where he's just like, oh, maybe the town does like me after all. So I'll put this in wholesome AF. It's a little sad, it's a little wholesome, it's kind of a combination of both. And Granny Evelyn, oh, bestie. She is bestie. Okay. This is the only Granny Evelyn cutscene, I believe, and it's pretty short. She bakes you a cookie. It's pretty wholesome AF. If you're one of the people who, when she asks how the cookie tastes, if you say hockey puck, how could you? How could you? To poor Granny Evelyn. Alright, we have some of the Gus cutscenes up next, and this first one's honestly really sad. Basically, Gus and Pam are having like an altercation because Pam isn't paying off her debt to Gus for all of like the beer that she's had at the pub, and you kind of step up to like help resolve that confrontation sort of. When did this happen? Like, not that memorable of a cutscene overall, so. Alright, next is the 5-heart cutscene. This is where Gus actually gives you the blueprints for the mini jukebox. And it's kind of a funny cutscene. He has to like stir this pot of like soup or whatever every 5 minutes or else it'll like explode apparently. It's wholesome. It's really, really cute. Gus is just like, hey, you're a good friend of mine. Like, I appreciate you in the valley. And then gives you a cool recipe for an item. So yeah, Gus, 2 thumbs up. Top tier character overall. I love Gus. Up next is a few of the Pam cutscenes, and this one is really, really interesting. So this is a cutscene that you get if you decide to upgrade Pam and Penny's trailer. With this cutscene, there's a few options. You can either stay anonymous or reveal yourself, and it's kind of cute. It's really wholesome. Pam cries, so I too am crying. Alright, the next cutscene is also really, really sad. So I'm also going to put this in BRB sobbing. Basically, in this cutscene, Pam tells the farmer that she is still struggling with drinking and it's still a huge problem in her life. But she's trying to better herself. She got this statue of Yoba and is trying to do better. A little side tangent / rant. Pam and Shane, they are 2 very interesting characters in Stardew Valley. One thing I always felt was missing about Stardew Valley and its characters was how you can still give them beer and it's a loved gift. These little details always seemed a little ingenuine to me. It always seemed kind of out of place. And I'm sure a mod like that exists somewhere, but not everyone can access mods. So it'd be really great to see any kind of like new updates in the future where these changes reflect like the base game sort of situation. But anyway, we're just kind of ranting now. We're here to do rankings, and we're gonna move along to Jazz and Vincent with the spring onion cutscene. This one is kind of like a when did this happen? It's an okay cutscene. It has great art, actually. I love the art and visuals in this cutscene especially, but it's kind of random and not very memorable, so I'll just put it in that category, I think. Moving on, we have the Kent cutscenes. This is Kent in year 2. He comes back to the valley after year 2, spring, and he was in the war. A little bit of the lore, basically, there's a war going on between the Ferngill Republic, which is where Pelican Town is located, and Ken is fighting in that war, and he comes home and he has PTSD. And it's really great to see a representation of mental disorders in Stardew Valley, and this cutscene is an example of that, where Jody is making popcorn and it reminds Kent of war, and that is a really real reality for so many veterans. I appreciate that from ConcernedApe, just that representation in the games. It's also very sad, so like I'm BRB sobbing because like it is just really sad. And this next cutscene involving Jody and Sam and Kent and the farmer, of course, basically you bring them a fish and they cook it and you have dinner. And it's very simple. It is very wholesome indeed. Yeah, it's simple. It's a nice cutscene. I like it a lot. It's really cute. Not a lot to say about it. So yeah. Oh, and the Linus cutscenes. Oh, Linus is my absolute favorite character, you guys. Linus was my first and only friend in Stardew Valley. We stan Linus on this channel, you guys. He is the best character. The first cutscene you have with Linus is him digging through the trash. The farmer approaches Linus and he's just like, well, there's a lot of hot food to go to waste, and that is valid, my king. And Linus starts to walk away, but Gus is like, wait, bestie, I got you. Have some zucchini fritters. Like, I don't want anyone to go hungry in town. Guys, this is so wholesome. It's so wholesome. I just love seeing Gus be so kind. And that is Gus's character. Gus is always a kind character to all the villagers in Stardew Valley, and it's great seeing him be kind to Linus. This next cutscene, straight to jail. Basically, in this cutscene, Linus and me were hanging out, being besties. He's like, you're really cool to me. I appreciate that. Come into my tent. I want to show you something. But like, why did they put that into the story? Why did ConcernedApe think, yeah, let's just like do this and like it'll be totally cool and like not weird at all? I was just totally thrown off by it. I don't want to watch it again. I don't want to experience it again. This next cutscene, it's also a pretty wholesome moment with Linus, Robin, and the farmer. Basically, in this cutscene, Linus is talking to Robin and the farmer, and you can offer for Linus to stay on your farm. But Linus denies it. He's just like, I love being where I am, and I'm happy and content. And I respect that. I really do. On one hand, I wish that Linus, kind of like Krobus, would come on the farm as like a friend, not like a romanceable character. But I have to respect it, you know? That's just who Linus is. This last Linus cutscene, I'm a little uncomfortable. This one was kind of weird. It's part of the special requests board. You have to just like get trash out of the valley, and Linus will reward you. And then you get a weird cutscene where he's bathing in the river. Yeah. Moving on, Krobus. Oh, my little baby Krobus. This event is a 14 heart event, so I wanted to include it. I didn't include all of the 14 heart events, but I just wanted to like talk about this one for a minute. It is just so gosh darn wholesome. Are you kidding me? Basically, in this cutscene, Krobus is on the pier, and then the sea monster comes along and like picks him up. I'm not sure what the sea monster is doing. I think just like helping Krobus like pretend to swim in the ocean, I guess. It's very wholesome. It makes Krobus happy, and when Krobus is happy, I'm happy. Up next is the Leo cutscenes, and this is all Ginger Island content, so if you haven't gotten to Ginger Island yet, maybe skip ahead. Starting off with the very first Leo cutscene, honestly, this one's not very memorable. It's just like Leo being kind of scared of you because you're a stranger on the island. This next cutscene definitely has me crying. It's really, really sad. Basically just Leo talking to the farmer and talking about how he doesn't belong anywhere, doesn't think he fits in. It's really, really a sad moment. Now, his 4-heart event is kind of similar to his 2-heart event. He's just kind of pondering life and thinking of his next move, really. I'll put it here. It's not that memorable, honestly. There are some better cutscenes later on that we'll get to. Like the 6-heart event with Linus. This is obviously a wholesome AF moment. It's just really great seeing Linus back in more cutscenes. In this cutscene, Leo moves away from the island for Pelican Town, and I just love this moment. It's just great. It's a great idea to have Leo kind of be a little friend for Linus. You love to see it. It's very wholesome. And then just lastly, we have his 9 heart event, which has me BRB sobbing, literally. It's a great moment, and I just love that for him. Like, he deserves the best. Up next, we have the Mayor Lewis and Marnie cutscene. First of all, I am very uncomfortable. Also, justice for Miss Marnie. I don't like Marnie that much in the game, but like, she deserves way better than Lewis. Let's just like make that clear. Oh, up next, okay, this is a great moment. I love this cutscene so much. It's just like crabs infesting Lily's like store. There's no tier to like define how great this cutscene really is. Honestly, yeah, we'll just call it for what it is. Crab tier. This cutscene alone deserves its own tier. It's just that funny to me. Oh yes, the Rasmodius cutscene. I have been waiting for this one. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is a classic cutscene. Y'all have seen it. It's one of the first in the game, really. Kind of weird, kind of quirky. I'll put this one also in crab tier. It's just that iconic. Crab is iconic. Up next is the birdie cutscene, and I honestly love this quest line so very much. I know it's kind of like a fetch quest, trade sort of quest, where you have to just give gifts to all the villagers to get Birdie's photo back of her long lost husband, who I think is the old mariner. Regardless, that's just a theory, I think. This cutscene has me sobbing for real. Just, it's very sad, so. And we have the Grandpa cutscene. Classic Gramps, classic Gramps. This is a wholesome AF moment, depending on how many candles you have, I guess, technically. But if you get all 4 candles, Grandpa's spirit is put to rest, and it's just like the icing on the cake of your journey in Stardew Valley, basically. It's a great moment overall, and it's just great seeing Grandpa like come back after 2 years of being on the farm and just seeing your progress. All right, the final 3. We're almost done. We're almost done, besties. This is Pierre and Morris fighting. This is iconic. Obviously, it is so great. If you don't choose Pierre beating the shit out of Morris in this cutscene, you're doing it wrong. Seeing Morris literally fly out of the window of the community center, it is just chef's kiss. It is so iconic. And we have the worst for last, just the Clint cutscenes. I don't like Clint, and he has 2 cutscenes, unfortunately, and we'll go through them super quickly. The first one is just him being annoying at the pub and being like, oh, I can't get Emily to love me, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not here to solve your problems with talking to Emily. That's on you, guy. Like, I cannot do that for you. And last, this is basically Clint's cutscene where he asks Emily out. It's just very forgettable, honestly. Not a whole lot to say about it. He is just like kind of awkward and then asks her out. And then that's the cutscene. Then it's over. Oh my gosh, you guys. It is done. I actually can't believe it. We ranked all of the cutscenes. We got through it. I have no idea how long this video will actually be, but it must be very long. If you made it to the end, like, huge props to you. Like, you're really cool. You get a thumbs up from me. So yeah, that is my ranking of the cutscenes in Stardew Valley. I hope you enjoyed watching. This was a lot of fun to put together and also very exhausting. But yeah, it was really fun. I love the cutscenes in this game. They're usually pretty short, so it's great seeing little like 1-minute snippets of a villager's life in Pelican Town. They're great moments. They really add a lot to the story overall and just help to round out the entire like world of Stardew Valley. If you do like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, come join the Bun Buns. We have a lot of fun here. We do a lot of cozy game content, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley. I'm trying to branch out and do more kinds of content like Stardew Valley, for instance. I hope you enjoy it and stick around. But with that being said, I am signing off for now. I will see you all next time. Bye, friends! I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad.